Hey guys, welcome back to the MoveU channel. Today we're going to talk about how to exercise with scoliosis. Do you have scoliosis?
Who, me?
You're going to want to pay attention, listen up. We have a little model here. This is Katie. I'm Dr. Brittany Ellers. We're going to be talking through all of this. So first, what is scoliosis? Well, technically, it is a lateral curve of your spine, and that can happen anywhere in the spine, whether that's lumbar, thoracic, or even cervical. It could also add a little bit of rotation to it, but it's at least 10 degrees of a curve. So if we want to say that this is a big part of the curve where the scoliosis is, we're going to take the top of that where it might just start to straighten out here, and then you take the lower part, and then you add it together as you come to a line, and this is what creates that angle. So that's how we talk about it. There are two different kinds of scoliosis. There is functional scoliosis, which basically is just, it ends up being an imbalance that you might have with your posture or muscles. It's just something that you do in a functional way that over time creates this curve. Sometimes that actually goes away when you actually sit down. That could be if you had uneven hips or a leg length discrepancy. But if you're someone like Katie, who has a structural scoliosis, so she is someone who actually has a vertebrae that isn't completely shaped the way the other ones are. We call that one her special vertebrae, right, Katie?
Special vertebrae.
You special.
Yep.
What is it shaped as?
It is a triangle. So it looks like that there. So my spine just goes off to the right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I want to know how you were actually diagnosed with it. What were you feeling? I'm just curious what your experience was.
So I was only 12 years old and I picked up a dog at the time and it threw my back out, and I actually went to the chiropractor. The chiropractor took x-rays of my spine and we actually found 17 degrees of scoliosis combined with slight spina bifida. Basically my vertebra is not fused at certain points. And yeah, on went my journey. I actually started yoga because of that. And here I am without back pain, actually, because of MoveU. I learned to fix my shit.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So I want that to be an encouraging story for you, because you know what? When you do have scoliosis, it can cause a lot of things to happen. You could have disc bulges, herniations, you could have joint pain, and again, just muscular imbalances that kind of just make you feel and look wonky. It makes all your other movements throughout your day feel just kind of off. And you know, there's a way to get out of it. So let's maybe go over some specific exercises and some ideas for you to kind of carry off on into your daily life, because I don't want you messing up your shit even more. Okay, so let's start with you facing to the side. So something we really like to emphasize at MoveU is just having this segmental control of your body. It's positional awareness, it's knowing where you are in space. So if we're gonna kind of imagine that you're cut in half basically, so we'll talk lower half of your torso and then upper half of your torso. Let's just talk about flexion. So when you flex your spine, it actually curves and rounds so that you're kind of spacing out the back body. So if you can show that, Katie, yes, the lower half getting into flexion. So you'll notice her low back gets nice spaciousness. And then let's try doing extension. So if you actually extend at the low back, for a lot of people, you might notice actually Katie has a hinge point where that spina bifida is right there. But she's got great control using her rectus abdominis. If you have scoliosis, you're gonna wanna make sure you know how to fire your rectus abdominis as well as your spinal erectors, these muscles that follow down the column of your spine on either side. So let's pause, find a neutral for the lower body. We'll talk upper body. Let's get into upper body flexion. This is you folding the top part down. You might wanna think about ribs, low ribs connecting down towards your hip bones. And then we want to get into extension. So let's try doing a lift. So those are like basically 4 different movements. So I want you to maybe try this at home while you're listening to this. Let's go over them really quickly one more time. Lower body flexion, pubic bone up. That's kind of the easiest way to think about it. Let's do lower body extension. Tailbone flips back. Let's use some arrows, huh? Find neutral. You wanna make sure that you can find your neutral, somewhere where your back feels decompressed and open. Then we're gonna do upper body flexion. Low ribs come down. And then extension. ribs come up. Or let's do like that. I don't know, I'm doing arrows behind you and it's kind of confusing. But you should feel your mid-back really working here. Okay, now find a neutral for that. So again, your spine should feel as long as possible. Hi, Say. Welcome to the show. Excuse me. Thanks. So notice that Katie has this really beautiful muscle here painted in turquoise. This is your transverse abdominis. This is another really great one that I want you to be able to contract and be aware of, especially when you're gonna do this next motion, which is rotation. We're gonna do the upper part rotation. Take a breath in, feel your low ribs expand. Exhale, draw that TVA in and twist to the right, just moving your shoulders and your elbow as far back over to the right as you can, noticing what you feel in your spine. Inhale back to center, and just exhale as a rest. Nice, relaxing the neck as well. Take another breath in, finding that length. Exhale, turn to the left and see how far you can get here. I think another really cool one, once you maybe want to progress to standing, is if you take a breath and come back to neutral, rest your arms. I'm just gonna show this really fast over here. When you stand and you have your heels against the wall, maybe there's a little space here from me, but if you twist and see if you can touch the wall.
Okay, try.
Yeah, can you do that? How far can you touch? Do that a few times. Coming back to neutral, and then maybe try the other side. Does one side feel a little more restricted than the other?
Yeah,
going this way or going the other way?
We almost finished each other's sentences.
I don't think we've ever finished each other's sentences.
Okay. Yeah, it totally depends on how your curve is and what's actually short on that side. Maybe your QL is short on that side and your erectors are a little lengthened. Yeah, it gets you a bit.
It's tough.
I think the rotation one might be the biggest discrepancy that you can feel in terms of your range of motion, but it's so good to find this balance as equal as possible, especially when you're trying to slow down any progression of that curve getting any worse. Last thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna have you face me sitting here at this edge. Next thing that we're gonna do is tilting. So same thing with the extension and flexion for the upper and lower half of your torso. We can do the same thing with tilting. So arms coming back to that cross in front. Let's try an upper body tilt to the right. So you'll feel this lengthen through the side on the left, and maybe you'll feel contraction or shortening here on the right. And then come back to neutral. Do that again on the right. And just notice what you feel. You might actually feel your obliques kicking in, and that's okay. And come back to neutral. One more time. Great. So you'll notice it gets just even more emphasized like that. Back to neutral. And then we're gonna go to the left. Love it. That way looks so much harder for Katie to get into.
It's really hard for me on the left side.
That's what she said.
What do you feel? Do you feel a lengthening at all, or do you feel more of a pull down on your left?
I feel like I don't really contract that side because my body falls this direction, right? So this side's always contracted.
Yep.
So my left side's much harder to actively contract. It's tough.
It takes a lot of like mental concentration. I think that's probably the biggest piece that you'll have to figure out with repetition. It's just not gonna come easy. You have to practice it. You have to put it into play. And you have to also notice when your spine starts to just lean into your original curve when you're doing regular day things. Like I know we all do silly things during our daily life. Like a lot of women, for example, stand like this.
Why are you standing like that?
And they shift all their weight into one hip, right? And so it's obvious that all of a sudden my left side is collapsed down, right? When I'm just kind of standing like this. Or when we're driving and we're driving like leg up, a lot of girls do that. Did you know? Did you know that? If you drive stick, you're kind of lucky. You're already using both legs. You have to keep them down. Okay.
Can I add something?
Please.
When I am shifting, when I'm tilting, I also have to be really conscious of not just leaning.
Yes.
Like this is an active contraction, like the ribs pulls down to the hip crest.
Yes.
Rather than just leaning.
Right. That's a great differentiation, I think, right? Because you can just kind of hinge over and look, like you have such great range, but you also are finding like one certain hinge instead of like a conscious connection to the muscles on this side. So same thing actually when you think about lower body tilt, and maybe you want to practice that. Can you do that while sitting? Is that easy for you to lift? Yes. Okay, so instead of bringing your ribs down to your hip crest, which is right here, that iliacus part of your pelvis, you're actually gonna lift it up. So you'll probably feel a lot of QL here.
Yeah, I
This
do.
part is probably easy for someone like Katie with the curve going to the right. What if we go left?
Oh, that's tough. Oh my God.
Oh, I see you
Super
doing
hard.
like a lateral shift almost when you do it too.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not gonna let you shift over as much. Do it again for the other for this side, yeah. Because you don't do that lateral shift as much of your upper body. So then let's do it this way again. Yeah, no shifting, just lifting.
That's tough.
Do a couple more. Are you following along with your reps? You better. One more. Good, okay, rest. She deserves some love. Oh my gosh.
So tough.
Okay, let's talk about some things that maybe are super helpful instead of just these segmental things. Obviously, you can learn all of this inside the MoveU membership. But if you're, say, going to classes and you're going to the gym, like what are things that we could do that won't aggravate your scoliosis? Let us tell you. I think low impact is really, really great. Anything that's gonna basically keep your spine really decompressed and finding this length and strength at a lengthened position. So I think bar is okay. Yoga,
Mat
like
Pilates.
you said, mat Pilates is perfect. I think you gotta be really mindful of any heavy lifting. If you have not fixed your shit like Katie's done an amazing job, I think, of really learning how to find her neutral and find this core activation in a really beautiful way where she can lift really heavy. She can be really impactful with her movement. And I think you can too, but you have to learn some of these basics before you get full body and start adding all this other stuff besides your own body weight. I think body weight exercise is actually really, really fabulous. Fabulous. Anything else to add?
It's hard. So don't be discouraged. If you're feeling like you can't do something, it took me probably, and I don't want to discourage anyone, but it took me probably a full year for me to understand my scoliosis. And also because mine is structural, my alignment doesn't look perfectly aligned. So I don't ever look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, I'm so straight. I'm usually slightly curved because I have a vertebrae that's not normal. So if you're feeling like discouraged by not having perfect alignment or perfect posture, don't worry. It might be structural. The only way you'll know is an x-ray. However, if it is functional and you know it's functional, then you do have the chance to give yourself a totally perfect and straight alignment. So no matter what you have, you can strengthen it either way, structural or functional. And yeah, it takes a lot of time and energy and effort, but that's why MoveU exists. That's why these programs exist. And that's why this YouTube video exists, so that you can learn how to fix your shit.
Exactly. So go ahead over to MoveU.com or any of the links below. Go ahead and learn anything that you need about your scoliosis and try these movements out for yourself. You will not regret it. Put in the practice. It'll change your life.